So economically, it's so obvious. This is I mean, in terms of executing a business plan, this part is the simplest business plan to execute. Someone using his hands and is extracting 1 gram, we give him an equipment with kind of arrangement with him, and he's producing 100 gram.
Hello there, my friends. Chris Marcus here with you for Arcadia Economics. And tonight we're going to be talking about gold and some fascinating things that happen in the gold market on the show. I'm excited to be joined by Philippe Bednarik of GoldFinX, who I was introduced to by the great Laura Stein, who many of you know. And it's interesting because obviously we have a lot of gold and silver fans watching the show. And we know a lot about the mining companies, but something we have not discussed is often a lot of the local people around the world that are mining for gold and silver, sometimes out in the river using their hands, not with the best equipment. And Philippe, you've created GoldFinX, which is actually quite an interesting project. So I appreciate you joining me, making some time. Calling in from Paris tonight. And how are you, my friend?
Hi, Chris. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you on here. And perhaps just to start, for people who are hearing about GoldFinX for the first time, if you can lay out what's the problem that's out there that you have positioned GoldFinX as the solution to, and help people understand how it works?
Well, like many business ideas, this idea comes from just looking at the facts. Something doesn't make sense in the gold business. I'm not talking about the industrial or semi-industrial gold mining, which doing fine. I mean, they are own ecosystem and they are doing fine. They raise money, they find gold, and it's extracting gold. I'm talking about the artisanal, exactly how you describe it, with your hands. And something doesn't make really sense today. We are 2020, and some people are still extracting gold like 5,000 years ago, using their hands, as you said, using hand, panning in the river. I'm not talking about the hobby. The guy who's going on Sunday with his kids on the river and spend a beautiful day panning, and panning is part of his hobby. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about 20 million people in this planet, which are basically extracting in the same condition with the same tools 5,000 years ago. Doesn't make sense. Another thing doesn't make sense is how these people, which are extracting an extremely desirable commodity, barely survive. They cannot, they cannot even put money aside to buy equipment, because every day it's a payday. They live day per day. And how come all the world is buying gold? I, everybody knows about gold. This is the commodity which is the most popular community in the world. Everybody knows gold. Everywhere you go in this planet, you talk about gold, of course, with different name. But gold is, how come these people who are extracting this are still living under the poverty line? How come? That doesn't make sense. Another thing doesn't make sense. How come they get from the international price? We have the beauty of gold as of the commodities, you have international price. And the beauty of gold is totally fungible. The gold you extract in South America, once it's refined, you will not see the difference with gold extracted in Australia, right? So it's totally fungible commodity. There's no quality inside. Once it's refined at $99.99, it's the same product.
Yep.
We have an international price. London is giving our, twice a day, our, little ring and the price.
Yeah.
How come these people just get 40%, 30%, 50%, 60% of the international price? How come? So this idea of financing this subsegment of the gold mining came from just looking at the reality of these people. When you produce 1 gram with your hand per day, which is roughly 1 gram, 2 grams, 3 grams a day, you just put an equipment the cheap equipment and you multiply by 10. You put a little bit more money, you multiply by 100. So economically, it's so obvious. This is the, I mean, in terms of executing a business plan, this part is the simplest business plan to execute. Someone using his hands and is extracting 1 gram, we give him an equipment with kind of arrangement with him, and he's producing 100 gram.
Yeah, and perhaps you could explain the mechanics of how GoldFinX works and how your actually business model is predicated on getting people basic equipment so that they can mine more gold. It's almost, and would it be similar to if you imagine a farmer who's out planting by his hands and can only sell to his local community, but if gets some equipment can increase what the people he's serving, and a variety of things. So if you could walk through the mechanics of how it works.
Very simple. First of all, you mentioned farming, contract farming. This is a perfect example where you buy the production in advance. And because you buy the production in advance, these people have money to invest in equipment that we provide, because we have, of course, having the money is one thing, but being able to spend it wisely with the best equipment maker is another story. So we prepay a production. These miners have, let's say, a capital to spend in equipment. Here, in our case, the first output pays our our financing. And then, because we are such a relationship with, we create such a bond with these miners, taking care of their legal status. We are more than just a fintech. We are more than that. We're helping them to get this, to get the gold out of a country using logistic and so on. So basically, it comes to kind of partnership where we get royalties for the future production. I mean, after we get paid for what we finance. It's benefit for them, benefit for my company, but it will benefit for all of us, including you, Chris, because the consequences of the lack of capital in the jungle of Africa impact your life. How? Simple. The use of cyanide and mercury in this jungle impact the ocean. Of course, it goes first to the river, killing the river life. That's fine. That's already. River going to a bigger river and goes to the ocean. 40%, and this is a UN number, not mine. 40% of the mercury that you found in the ocean is coming from the industry. Again, 20 million people only are affecting oceans, which are 70% of the Earth surface, because of this industry. We talk about millions of tons of mercury going to the ocean every year. So that's for everybody benefit. The first impact is social, immediately. Immediate impact is, first impact is, of course, is the business itself. You extract 100 times more with equipment than with your hands. Okay, this is understood. But let's see all the impact and the side effects of this. First of all, when you use an equipment, you use water pumps. You don't need kids in the river, carrying buckets of water and sand. You don't need that because you have a water pump. You don't need pregnant women panning in the hole like with water until there because you have sluice box. You don't need people carrying mud with their hands because you have all equipment, shakers, drummers, and you have all this thing doing the job for them. So basically you already eliminate what is not acceptable. Child labor, pregnant women with labor. This is not acceptable. So immediately you eliminate this side effect of their poverty. I'm not saying that the kids will go to the school immediately, but at least there is a process. There's something else to do. Remember, a little bit back to the mercury. Who is burning, flaming the mercury balls? Kids. This is a typical kid job in a mining, on the artisanal mining industry. The kids with a torch, eliminating the mercury from the gold and try to amalgamate this. It's a kid job. They get confused. You see it when you see. I've been seeing in Africa, and I can tell you exactly which kid is working on the mercury and not. You see on the eyes. You see the toxic fume, the effect of the toxic fume. So that's already an effect.
And for the investor side, can you explain for someone who invests in GoldFinX what that is entitling them to, and basically the mechanics of how that works from their perspective?
What we did is very simple. We merge two industries that cannot be more opposite, too extreme. Cryptocurrency cannot be more abstract than that, and gold mining cannot be more on the ground, than that. We merge this. Why? Simply because the mining industry needs a new way to get finance. I'm talking, again, artisanal mining industry. I'm not interested in the big boys and the big major. This is not my business. My business, I'm only focused on the artisanal miners. These people need a way to get the finance because they have no other option. And the cryptocurrency, as beautiful it is, and I am a big fan of crypto. I own Bitcoin. I'm long on Bitcoin. I'm long on Ethereum, indefinitely. These crypto coins don't have assets. They are not backed by any assets. So, as much as I like Bitcoin, it's bothered me that Bitcoin could burst one day with no asset to distribute. So, if you mix the two, you have gold miners accessing to finance with obviously a snowing ball effect in terms of creating wealth. And you have a cryptocurrency which has gold as an asset, backed by an asset. For us, it's a magic formula.
The way I think about it, and you can tell me if this sounds about right, is that it's kind of just like accessing a different market rather than having your shares listed on the New York Stock Exchange and you're getting dollars for a share. In the crypto blockchain model, you're using a token rather than shares, but still the investor that buys the token has a claim in the business. And perhaps just the last thing, if you could walk through when someone does have the token and explain that gives them a percentage and essentially allows more mining equipment to go out to more artisanal miners, and then more gold and possibly silver soon, I hear as well, that's produced. That, that chunk that is the 20% that goes back to GoldFinX, that is what is backing the investment. So essentially, the more gold that's mined, the more people that have better equipment can increase their output. The percentage of that is what the investor on the token has a claim to. Am I getting that right?
Yes. What do you buy? You buy an electronic currency. The name is GIX, by the way. We did not mention it, but it's a GIX. The company is GoldFinX, and the currency is a GIX. The currency is a code, basically. It's immaterial. But by the way, most of the stocks now are, exchanged in an immaterial way too. But it's this coin. The big difference between this coin, this token, or whatever you call it, with the Bitcoin is the coin holder are the ultimate beneficiary of the gold, which is shared with the gold miner. You mentioned the 20%. You're right. We get, for the lifetime of each mine, 20% of the production output. We not bottom line. We don't talk about profit. We don't talk about. We take the gold because remember, I told you we have a kind of relationship with these people. We take care of the logistic and the sale of the gold on the market. So we control this gold, 100% of the gold, and we do the split ourselves. Out of the refinery, we split 80-20. 80 goes back, we sell it on the market, and we go and we pay the miners for the share, and we keep 20% of refined gold. Out of this 20%, 5 goes to GoldFinX as the revenue of the fintechs. 15 goes to a vote, which is under a trust, where the beneficiaries are the coin holder. And because it accumulates, the currency which is on the top of it, which is backed by this gold, the value goes up. That's it. Plus, that's the underlying, talking about the underlying assets. Plus, you have a speculation. We didn't mention, but we are listed. Our coin is listed. So that gives a liquidity also. Give me another example where you can invest in a startup and get liquid immediately. There's no other way. Only crypto allows this.
And in terms of the actual price and what drives that, you mentioned that there's some people who have gotten in early because they believe in what you're doing. But ultimately, is the token's value on some level derived from the accumulation of and that's what people are buying into because they believe that you will continue to accumulate the gold, which will be the underlying asset value to the token. Is that getting that right?
Yes, I think you described right. I think today the increase in value, it's not because of the asset, it's the future asset. They believe that we will be able to accumulate steadily and growing a certain amount of asset that will justify a higher price in the future. So I think it's like any investment, it's a bet on us. It's a bet in our ability to execute the business plan. The business plan is described on its all details in our white paper, in our website. Honestly, when I met, the best meeting I have is always with crypto skeptic, because I realize that the cryptocurrency for these people is something they don't understand, and I would encourage everybody to at least try to understand how it works and see what the potential. I'm not saying that all in crypto industry is good. Far from it. I mean, you have scams, you have a lot of things. You have pump and dump. You have, but pump and dump. I've been hearing this not only in crypto. I've been hearing about pump and dump in other industry, right?
It happens everywhere,
So,
unfortunately.
yeah. So I mean, yes, like any other industry, it had its bad side, bad actors, bad apples. But again, let's try to get the best of it, and this is what we try to do. Let's get the best of it. And if you combine with something which, then everybody understands gold. That's a beauty thing, but you have to dig and you have to clean. You mix with that, and you have, I think, a beautiful product.
Yeah, and Philippe, for folks who would like to get more information, visit your website, read through the white paper, can you let them know how they do that?
The website is where you go. The white paper is our business plan. The beauty of a white paper compared to a prospectus is you can update it. You know, you can add some data that you didn't have at the beginning. That's the beauty of a white paper. It's a concept that really the traditional finance world should pick up, because a white paper is a document which is updated each time we feel necessary to inform our investor or the public in general about new data, new findings, new technology or results, concentration of gold, that you can follow our execution of a plan almost in real time. Also in the website, you have the news about us. You have a lot of videos, tutorials. We try to make it, as I've said, as much accessible as possible to the general public. Our investor invest in some country $50, some are invest in 1 million. This is a huge range because it's because we are in an industry which is innovative, because we give some tools to understand how it works, and we try to be accessible as much as we can. So this is our website, Decentralized Finance, Empowering Artisanal Gold Mining. This is our, basically, this is what we do. This is what we do. Decentralized finance, simply because we use the crypto as a way to finance. Artisanal gold mining, because we only focus on this segment, and we will not go in any other industry. We are focusing artisanal. Today, we have a huge database of miners. A lot of people ask a question, how you find the mines? Obviously, we started with the mines we knew personally within the team. We came up with a list of mines we knew before, because we were buying gold from them, because the people, we knew the people personally. So the first, I would say the first short list of mines was easy, was just our Rolodex and our personal connection. But today, I can tell you, every week we receive, now that the word is spread out, we receive every week some proposition, some people looking for financing, asking us. So we send our geologists, we send our engineers, we do a due diligence.
Well, I appreciate, especially on the website, that you have things laid out clearly. And again, it's a nice model where I like that you're helping a segment of people that certainly could use some help. You're saving the environment in the process. And certainly for folks, if you want to come here and get a recap of how all this breaks down, there is the roadmap. And certainly that's one thing I notice as I look at a lot of different companies, just having the information laid out in a clear and easy way for people to understand. So I appreciate you doing that, Philippe. Thanks for coming on the show and joining me and talking about GoldFinX. And we will be look forward to following your success and seeing how it all comes together.
It was a pleasure, Chris. Thank you very much.